Hey friends, welcome back to Not Quite Homesteading. Today I am out in the garden. It's early morning and I just wanted to share a nice garden walk and tour with you guys. I'm not going to do a full tour, but I do want to just talk about some things that are happening and just kind of be out here and enjoying the, I guess, cool air. The sun hasn't fully risen yet. It's on the horizon though, and it's just nice and enjoyable to be able to walk outside and not feel like I'm being scorched half to death. So I'm looking forward to being outside much more in this season and just really getting back to enjoying the garden and not worrying about the heat. So I was like, I don't know if you guys can see in there. This is where I have my brassicas right now. Some need to be up potted. I've up potted some already, but I will be taking the time today to get these out of the seed starting trays and getting them into their next size up. And then I'll be starting some more seeds in those trays. I don't know if I've shared an update with you guys of my fruit trees, but these are my fruit trees that I purchased back in the spring. This is the Egyptian yellow guava. This is my regular dwarf guava. And I can't tell y'all like how happy I am with these trees. I was like, I need y'all to do me a favor. Let's hit up Logies and tell them to get me a discount code, some type of sponsorship or something, because I plan on buying more plants from them. Their plants are amazing. They've grown really well. This is my Namduk Mai mango tree. And if you guys saw the short that I did and you saw how all of these trees like started really small, this little roselle plant here, this was a little figment of imagination, and now this plant is like, I want to say it has to be at least like near 7 feet tall. So, and it's in a container. Could you imagine what this plant would look like if I put it in the ground? I'm so happy with those plants from them. These plants I actually got from my local nursery, but this is my key lime, and we're finally getting to a place where like the limes are getting sizable. So I will start to harvest these pretty soon. It does look like I have some that are like slightly compromised, but I'll go ahead and pluck those off. But I've been really happy with this key lime. My Meyer lemon, I can't say the same, but I'm still holding out hope for it that it'll come around and actually give me some lemons. I was like, I have some plants going on inside my patio as well. I was like, my little gem lettuce is finally getting its footing because it's not so hot anymore. My cilantro is not doing well, and then this plant needs to come out. This was a melon that I never did anything with. The cilantro, I think it suffered a little bit through the heat, and it looked like it had gotten attacked, so I'm just going to go ahead and replant that. I do have some growing in the raised beds, which I'll show you guys. And then these are my chives. I'm showing you through the screen, so sorry if it's blurry. And this is the first time, I would say probably in the whole year, that I've successfully sprouted chives, which is nice because I've been wanting them for some time. I've started adding some color to the garden. I have the petunias I've spread out in a few places. I started putting up the coleuses, and I would say quick thing, this rosemary looks like it's actually doing quite well again, like it's put on some new growth. I've been neglecting my rosemary, I have, but I am gonna cut some of that back just to make sure the plant stays healthy. But the coleuses and the petunias, I've definitely been using them to add some color to the fall garden, and I've really been enjoying them, especially like the purples. So this one is next to a tomato plant. This is a Roma tomato. My understanding is that they are supposed to deter hornworms. I don't know how true it is, how successful that will be. But so far, I'm really enjoying having them around. And then I wanted to show y'all this. This is my banana plant. So all of these little things started as mere figments, right? And they have grown so nicely. This is in a container. It is a dwarf Cavendish banana. I do need to pull out probably a stem, because I think it has about 4 stems attempting to grow in this small pot, and I think that's just a little too much. We need to be able to give some of the stems room to actually grow so they can produce fruit next year. This tomatillo is still here. I talked about this in one of my previous tours, and whether or not I should pull it or cut it back. I don't think I got any feedback about it, but it's still here. I have some more coming out pretty soon. I don't know. I'll decide, I guess, at some point what I'm really going to do with it. And then I still have melons growing. These are petite melons. This is a yellow petite melon. We have 1 or 2 that look like they'll be viable. Our temperatures did start to drop a little bit, so I don't know if the nighttime temperatures will support any more fruits really getting off to a good start there. But so far we have 2 that are kind of like, oh, actually 3 that are on their way. So maybe we'll get those 3, and if we do, I'll definitely be happy with that. We also have some sugar babies over here. And look at here. This fruit grew really fast. This fruit sized up to this point probably in like the last 3 to 4 days. So maybe we'll get like 1 or 2, and I have 1 down here at the bottom of those. I do have these 2 crimson sweet watermelons that have really sized up quite a bit. I don't know if they're gonna do much more. Our daytime temps are still fine for watermelon growing, but last night probably was like the first time it was like, okay, it's getting chilly now. It was like in the 60s at night. So we'll see what happens with those. Hopefully they do finish for me before it gets too cool at night. And then I've started planting in this bed. This is square foot gardening going on here. Apparently we have some mushrooms. I think that's a good soil sign. But I have beans planted over there. Nothing has really come up out of here just yet. I have like beans, radishes, beets. We have some leafy greens, lettuces and such. And then I have lemongrass that I planted over here. That was a transplant, so that's why that one is up. The squash are doing okay. The pickle worm is really, really a nuisance here. But I am praying that we can get some squash off of these plants. I probably need to cut off some of these leaves, to be honest. To be honest, but we'll see what happens. Oh, we have, come on bee, pollinate. We have an open fruit on my blue Guatemalan. So far the plants have been surviving. I have not been too worrisome over the bugs and how some of the parts of the plants are looking. Honestly, I just feel like I can't I can't stress over it. What will be at this point for this, and we'll take what we can get if we can get anything. If I find a month from now, when it's time for me to start my onions, because this is going to be my onion bed, that these really aren't doing what I need them to do, then I'll go ahead and just pull them and prepare the bed for my onion planting, and that'll be the end of that story. These are the beds that we put down early this month, and I have tomatoes in here. Now these are indeterminate tomatoes. I don't know how well all of them will do. I am expecting the cherry tomatoes to be just fine, because they were just fine during this season last year. I do have some San Marzanos in here, as well as like a Early Girl and a Marglobe. I don't know how those are going to do, but I guess we'll test it out and see. I have more lemongrass, and lemongrass is probably going to be the theme, y'all, for my garden, because I'm over all the pests and all the mosquitoes and just everything. So lemongrass will be planted all throughout the garden. I'm so happy that those last seeds came up for me. And then I have some radishes that are coming up, it appears. Carrots haven't germinated yet, but those are leeks over there. And then we have some basil on the side. So far I am liking the square foot gardening method, especially for proper spacing with planting. I feel like I'm definitely maximizing, but also not overcrowding. We have some beans here and some peppers. They're not growing together. Technically, you're not supposed to grow beans with peppers. I don't know. They say beans inhibit pepper growth, but I am growing marigolds with the beans, which is also supposed to be a no-no. It says they stunt the growth. So far, I haven't really seen anything to be worried about. My snow peas aren't doing that great. They seem to have taken a pretty long time to get up to this point. And I don't know if I just didn't have like the trellising low enough for them to be able to grab sooner. So it kind of hindered their growth, but we'll see what we get from that. I'll probably plant more seeds now that it's slightly cooler. I think the plants will do a little bit better. I have eggplant out my wazoo, and I am finally at the point where I've decided that I'm going to go ahead and pull these white eggplant plants and the green eggplant, because I just cannot keep up with the pace of production of those plants. I just don't eat like eggplant that much or like that to justify keeping these around, and it's gotten to the point where even trying to give them away has become a project in itself. So I'm just gonna let them go, open up the space, give these Roma tomatoes the room that they need, and see what other small plants I can get posted up in the front of this. Tomatoes are looking good. We actually have fruit, which is nice. And then Thai peppers, these really took off in August. So I was like concerned because I felt like I wasn't getting a lot of fruit off of them, and I do have 3 plants there. I planted more and they are ready, I think, to go into the ground, but I don't know if I truly need them. And we have a lizard that's licking the dew off the plant. The lizards have taken over the garden, which is, fine until I go to grab something and one of them jumps out of no daggone where. But I'm happy with the Thai peppers. I'm trying to let these turn so they can turn red for me. I've harvested quite a few green ones. I can probably still stand to harvest some more green ones, but I'm looking to get red ones off of those plants before it ends. And then this is the sweet potato bed that we have going here. It's definitely tried to make its way over into this other 4x4. We'll be pulling these pretty soon, so I'll be excited to share with you guys like what sweet potatoes we get, how many we get, how they look, and how well they grew in the raised beds. We have some oregano that is absolutely trying to take over my bed. My celery plants aren't looking that great. I'm hoping that they will look much better as the temperatures cool. And then of course we have some peppers over here that will need to be picked pretty soon. I think one of the things I am going to do with my next round of peppers, and I'll share this in a video, is going to be a quick harvest and preserve. And I have an idea of what I want to make with them, so it will be a freezer meal. I will tell you guys that. The green eggplant, they're just like, I can't express enough. I cut this plant all the way back to bare bones, and this is how it grew back. There are tons of green eggplant on here, and while I do think the green eggplant tastes pretty good, I just refuse to eat eggplant every day, all day, in order to try to keep up with this plant. So that's not going to work. I think I'm at the point where I'm just like, okay, we have to do something a little bit differently. We have plenty of peppers on this side that are still producing. My sunrise peppers, they're putting on new fruits up there. I was like, I don't know if you guys can see the bell pepper is growing in. I have green bell peppers underneath here on my green bell pepper plant. Oh no, I went in a spider web. These are also green bell pepper plants down here. And we have some green bell peppers on there. And then of course we have like our Anaheims. I have a sweet sunrise that's ready. It's kind of on the small side, but that's totally fine. I do have poblanos and pepperoncinis growing up there. And then the serranos have just taken off again. So I need my husband to like get in here so he can reach over some of these plants for me. And then we'll be able to get those off. The Cubanelles are looking really, really good. And then we have some nice King Arthur second round bell peppers under here. So the garden is thriving in some places. We have some rotted peppers over here that I need to move. My mums are coming back. I have really become a fan of the mums for the simple fact that they literally come back every season. And then these are the coleus plants, and I still have plenty more of these coleus plants to plant out. I need to find spaces for them. It looks like some of them are trying to go to seed. I don't know if that's seed or if they're just producing new leaves, but it seemed like it was trying to seed, and I don't know if that was just from stress for the plant being like out in the heat and not being planted. The sweet alyssum is growing back in once again. And then I still have to take out all of these plants up here. I've really been procrastinating with this, y'all. I just am not looking forward to it, but I do need to get them out so I can get these bags off the patio. We took the time to actually power wash the patio, and we did most of it. We didn't get all of it because we had the house sprayed recently, so we couldn't wash off the spray. So we'll wait until the next time to finish that. And then I had some little bulbs here that I pulled out of my flower pots. I don't remember what I had planted before, but it was, I guess, setting bulbs for the next round of plants. But I went ahead and pulled those out. I said I had to look them up as far as like what I think they are. They're flower bulbs that look like onions, essentially. If you know what they are, you can definitely leave me a comment down below onto what they are. But they're bulbs that look like onions when they're in the pot. But this is pretty much what's going on this side of the garden. Nothing is happening with like the raspberries, the blueberries, or anything like that. The herbs are fine. Some of them are definitely getting eaten over. But, you know, I'll just cut those back and let them regrow. But this is everything. It's been really nice to just kind of be out here walking around and feeling like the cool, crisp air. The spider webs are, and spiders are definitely having a field day. So I think I'm at the point where I need to come out with a stick and walk with the stick like ahead of me. I have a nice little Charlotte's web up here, and then they're just like from pole to pole creating webs all across the garden. So I don't enjoy walking into spider webs, but I'll go ahead and take care of that. And then of course we have our little seedlings over here, some of which I think I am also coming to terms with that I'm probably gonna have to get rid of because I'm just not gonna have enough space for. But I will take my time with that and see what happens. I do have some things that need to be transplanted, like my bunching onions, the next set of lemongrass, and you know, some of these peppers. Some of them will be fine for a little bit and I'll probably leave them here, but like my basils, those things need to get in the ground because they've been in these cups for just a little longer than they probably should have. And apparently I had plants in here that seemed to have died off, and then they came back as soon as it started raining. So I have a whole pepper here on a plant that I have not cultivated in the least, and I'm still gonna harvest it. So that is everything, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed taking a look inside the garden. In the early, and I say early fall, it's still summer, but you know, we're about a few days out from fall. It feels like fall out here. And I hope you guys enjoyed just kind of taking a look and a walk and seeing what's going on with the plants in my garden, and what we're doing to prepare for the fall season. As always, I appreciate you guys for spending time with me in the garden this morning. Don't forget to check out our affiliate links down in the description box below. Let's keep learning, sowing, growing together, friends. Until our next garden update. Bye.